Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with Monday Special. Remember to use the hashtag Monday Special KE on Twitter or text us on 22422. Leave your name and location. We'll have some of your feedback later on the show. We're talking about children and technology and some of the disturbing content that children continue to have access to through apps like WhatsApp, whether it's WhatsApp or Twitter or Facebook, and how parents can be better informed to monitor what their children are viewing. I know there was a bit of a discussion here about snooping. When we took a break, Stella was saying snooping isn't the answer. Everyone here who's a parent is saying it is the answer. Some said snoop away, I think, until they're about 15, 16. So you still think snooping isn't the way to do it, isn't the way to address?
No.
Yeah?
You shouldn't snoop. Like, talk to your kid. Tell him or her what's wrong, what you should do, the benefits or the harmful things you should get. Then from there you can snoop after you talk to the kid. But at the age of 16 upwards, you shouldn't snoop.
Yeah, which is what Sam had said. And then, Anne, you were saying you're not really on social media. Is there a reason why?
I think the way people tell me that this and this has happened in the social media, so I start getting upset. Okay. So I think, why should I be on social media? And then I'll be making all those comments and all. So I just chose not to be. But as I told you earlier, I'm now on WhatsApp.
Okay. To start, right? And then we'll go from there. Mr. Ngusi, tell us a little bit about some of the programs CA has in place to educate parents, educate families on sort of protection, child protection online. I know there's something that you rolled out not too long ago. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think upon the realization that the menace of children being exposed to online crimes is beginning to be high, a number of efforts have been done by various governments, including our own and ourselves, to be able to see what is the best approach to be able to protect these children from being affected by this kind of menace. I mentioned to you there are quite a number of crimes that are committed online, and where children are unaware that they are facing such kind of dangers. So for us, beginning with the International Telecommunication Union, as countries of the ITU and as member states of the UN, we came up with a program of how we can protect our children from online content that is unnecessary. And one of the things that we all agreed to do is to start an awareness campaign. We have developed a number of materials. We have also installed some equipment where we can even get reportage on what has happened to a child elsewhere and how we can be able to trace it, and also try to make the parents know that there is also some technology protection there. But in order for us to be able to succeed in this, we need first of all to share. What is it that your child can be able to find online? And I think this has been a very good discussion for me, because there are a number of issues where children can be able to be trapped online. The number of crimes, I think many people just talk about pornography. Pornography is not just one of those. I mean, just one of those crimes. The biggest crimes are like, solicitation of minors. Stalking, identity theft and stalking, following where these kids are, and as some has said, these phones of ours can give you location. Don't think that somebody who is even talking to you and you are replying doesn't know where he can be able to get you.
Yeah, which you mentioned.
And like with minors, they have a language also of convincing minors to even reveal their identities and so on and so forth.
So you've just started an awareness campaign.
We have started an awareness campaign.
Are you seeing it make a difference?
But definitely we think it is going to make a difference. I think in Mombasa, where we launched the awareness campaign, we had around 10,000 teachers. And the teachers of primary schools, teachers of primary schools, are the ones that are taking care of these children. And I think we saw the kind of interest that was developed. And we are moving forward to make quite a number of other programs, including through media, to be able to make our children aware. And I would want to say that even those of you who tend to think that snooping is not good, there is nothing online that cannot be snooped. Even including whoever wants you from where will snoop and get you. So it is just only snooping for the wrong purpose that is bad. But if you are snooping for the good purpose, to me it is supposed to protect a human being, supposed to protect a child. I personally support.
Yeah, like you were saying, Sam, you'd rather if you have a daughter, she gets mad at you than her turning into a sex slave because of going online.
She can be angry for 2-3 years, and then after that she'll get over it. Otherwise, she may end up bankrupting me. She may end up giving me a heart attack. We're looking for her. I mean, she may end up having low self-esteem if her nudes are shared on the internet, or my son's pictures are shared on the internet. You know, she may end up being convinced to take drugs or get into groups that you know, promote suicide. I mean, I don't want that happening. So I mean, as a parent, I think those are things that I'm willing to take her not loving me or him not loving me for me to take care of that. And again, as Francis has said, security on the internet is a myth. If you don't want, if you want security, just shut down your computer, throw away the key. You know, anybody can snoop at you, can find you, can find your details. So a lot of that is a myth. The problem is if you're doing the wrong thing, then you have a reason to be worried. You know, so you're protected on to a certain degree. After that, you're not protected.
You're not.
Actually, I mean, just to add on to briefly on what he has said, there is one point that parents don't take very seriously that happens to their children. That is computer addiction. You find that the level of children getting addicted to, you know, online information is so high that it disrupts them from doing other activities. And sometimes even when the net is not there, these children become emotional. I mean, even their emotional stand, I mean, it goes beyond the threshold levels. So it is also very important that parents should know, for how long can children be able to be online? How long do I allow my child to continue being?
And how long should you allow your child to be online? What's a good time?
First of all, I personally believe that you should let your kids play outside a lot more. Yes, I mean, pretty much let them, you know, their social interaction skills will improve. But I'm not saying online does not improve social interaction. It does actually quite a lot. But I don't think anything more than an hour a day, depending on age, should be allowed. Even for you as an adult, you should not spend 10 hours. I spend probably 15, but you shouldn't, honestly. You shouldn't spend more than 10 hours on the internet, probably 8 hours. If you Google, you'll find the required numbers. But if the teenager don't think 4 or 5 hours it's too much, and the thing is Xbox games,
those are
games,
addictive.
Those are addictive. So you want to make sure that they're going to do 2 to 3 hours and step out. It also affects their posture if they sit down for too long playing games like this. Now, something I'd like to add on this conversation, quite often we always talk about the girl child in terms of protecting them from the internet. But our boys are being recruited to ICs and terrorist groups through the internet. As we were discussing earlier, there are games. As you're buying games for your children as well, you need to know the rating of that game. You need to look at online reviews for that game. Some games encourage extreme violence. Some games are produced by terrorist groups. That at a certain level, they're multiplayer games that make these kids start talking to recruiters who will recruit them into terrorism. As soon as they're desensitized about violence, killing, it's a very easy step towards killing actual human beings, especially when they're talking to another adult somewhere in another part of the world.
That's a really good point to bring out. So just being aware of that.
Be aware. When you go to buy a game, look at the ratings, look at the reviews, look at who produced the games, look at the comments online before you buy your son a shooting game that can end up getting them recruited into a terrorist organization.
What's the appropriate age to give a child a phone, would you say?
My kids are young and they have a phone, but it's locked. They can only call me, call their mother, and call a few other people. They cannot browse on that phone. They cannot do other things, and they cannot download anything. I use App Lock. It's a very simple, if you're an Android, APP lock. I can lock half of the apps in there and leave only the necessary ones. Which means also even SMS can be locked. They can't SMS each other, but they can only call given numbers. So it's a question of how tech-savvy you might be. Their computer has got most I recommend just use browser settings and a lot of other software.
You have the advantage of being tech savvy, I think.
Lucky that I'm not.
But that's the awareness that I think really needs to come out a lot more. I think I'll go around and ask that question. What do you think is the appropriate age to give someone a phone?
From 14.
14?
Yeah.
So if you give a 10-year-old a phone, you think that's a problem?
No, like what for? If you'll give your kid a phone at 11 or 12, then you lock the applications, stay with it. Like, if
you don't
the
think
phone
it makes
is only
sense?
meant if it's only meant for
calling,
communication between me and you, I'll wait for you to come back home.
Okay. So it makes sense from 15 when they can actually use apps, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about you? What do you think is the appropriate age to give a child a phone?
Well, I think for us who take the responsibility of ensuring that children are protected, we recommend that age 16 is a good one for a kid to start using a phone. These other ages, if you are say a child has to talk on phone, I think it has to be with your guidance. And I think that would be probably a good age for a child.
Okay.
Because the phones of today are not just for sending SMSs.
They're very sophisticated.
They are very sophisticated. And one of the things that we have come to discover is that children understand these phones much more than the parents. In fact, even the most educated parents may not know 5 of those applications in their phones, and the children might be knowing 20.
Yeah.
And when you don't know what your children is accessing, you can't be able to control.
Yeah.
And I think it is worse when they come to know about these things much earlier during their minor years than when they are going into...
When they're much older.
Yeah.
You had thought Form 4 was a good time. Okay. Do you still maintain that? What's the best age to give a child a phone, do you think?
I still maintain 18.
18?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, very...
That's not happening in the 21st century, though.
I just agree that almost 5-year-olds have phones they're using TV. And one of the things you can do, just like you can't switch off the TV and throw away the remote or the radio, you can do as well on the phone. Because when you're with them, they'll touch the phone.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do with most phones is that you can create a profile for them that is a child profile. Some phones come with that feature. Even computers come with that feature, where you create a child's profile. So let's agree, as parents, from a parenting perspective, I'd say strongly that a parent has to understand what they're buying and what they're using more than their child. They have to. You don't have an option.
Yeah.
From government, I think it's important for us to actually be really protected at that level from the fraud happening from Eastern Europe and all of that with the policies that you're putting in place. But that will not protect us from bad parenting.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah. How much has being on the internet, being a blogger, how much has it changed your life?
Like, I've known a lot, and I earn from my blog. So financially, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, people tend to see like what I'm writing. So generally, in terms of social media, you have to know what you're posting. You post at the right time. I can take a picture at Citizen Studio and post it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I post it after 2 hours for security.
Because of the traffic. Oh, for security, yeah, exactly. Don't say I'm at Citizen so that people find you.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll post it after a day. You hashtag about yesterday.
Yeah, which is what we were saying. So basically, be social media savvy. Understand what works when.
Yeah, choose whom to follow. Choose who to follow you. Because it's just a click of a mouse. You can block whoever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, just choose what
so
to
for
do.
you, it's at least it's empowered you, like you said, financially, etc. So
yes,
there are benefits, and I think we've already mentioned that.
Yeah.
We're completely out of time. I'd just like to go around and get everyone's parting shot, and especially maybe Sam, even as you, and you've given a lot of advice, maybe somewhere that someone tonight can go online and read about some of these softwares, etc., just advising, because apparently maybe thinking, where do I even start to educate myself about what my child should have access to?
One of the best documents I think I've read recently about protection is done by Plan International, I believe. Child Safety Online. Just Google for that, you'll find it. But let me just give some very basic things as a parent you can do. You use a Chrome browser. Search for a parental control extension. It will block out pornography and everything. If you're using Firefox, just search for parental control. An extension, install it. That will work for you. If you're using a phone, search for an app that locks all the other apps. It's some good control to start with. So, but if you're looking for a techie, maybe what you need is also one of these young techies to come in your home and just configure that. You can find a techie to do that. We have NILAB has created a platform called kuhustle.com. It's a kuhustle.com. It's kuhustle.com. You go there, post a job, probably ask for, we're going to spend 5,000 and ask for somebody to come and help you secure your gadget at home for your children. And I can assure you, techies will bid and they'll come to your home and they'll secure your network and secure your...
Okay, that's a good starting point.
It's a good, so you get somebody to actually sit with you and advise you. We have almost 3,000 techies on the platform who can come to you and sit with you and show you how to do it.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your tips and that advice for you.
Oh, personally, check out my blog.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, before that.
and
yeah.
Check out, you can read more about how to control your kid. Use the application lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can also, DSTV, they also have parental guide.
Yeah.
You can lock some channels from the age of 13 and below.
So just be educated about it.
Yeah, be educated about it and help your kid.
Yeah.
A lot.
All right.
Because if your kid won't be in control when he or she is young, after from 15 and above,
it can get pretty bad. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yes.
Yeah, I think what I would like to say myself is that parents should begin to be very much aware of this issue about online protection, not just even the child. What has happened today is that we are moving from what we call internet protocols that address various devices to a version that is much higher, which very soon parents will be using them to even address almost all the devices in the home. And you can remember, if our children and those who are going to use those devices are not going to use them with discipline, then it will be very easy for somebody to burn your house just using a phone.
Yeah.
It will be very easy somebody to switch off anything in your house just using a phone. And who is going to be the person that would put that home into a big danger? Is a child. So the child of tomorrow is going to be more knowledgeable with the devices that are developing every day. That is why we need to protect them.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And finally, Anne?
Yes. As parents, I think we should have more time with our children. Yes, even if they're like 18 and above, just know what they are doing. I know we're busy, we're working hard, but let's have time for our children, whether they are 10, 13, or even 21.
Yeah, just to check on what they're doing.
Just to check on what they're doing. I think that's very important.
All right, thank you so much. I think there's so many dimensions to this discussion, but we thought that was important to bring out. Thank you all so much for your insight. We'll come back with some of your feedback and wind up with Hussein Mohammed on Monday Special. Stay with us, we'll be right back.